Okay. Let's talk about the umbilical cord. So the umbilical cord, how is it? What's special about it compared to other veins and arteries?
2 arteries, 1 vein.
The vein.
Yep. So you have 1 vein, 2 arteries. Okay. So normally I would put arteries in red, except in the umbilical. I'm putting it in blue. So this
Is the veins
an
bigger?
This is an artery, and this is the vein.
The veins oxygenated blood, right? And
yes, and that's the exception. So the vein, the umbilical vein, carries oxygenated blood or oxygen-rich blood, and the umbilical arteries carry oxygen-poor blood. Where else do we see this exception? Because normally veins are deoxygenated or underoxygenated, and arteries are oxygenated. But where else do we see this exception?
Gosh, I remember you saying it.
What's the opposite of bond?
Wait.
Pulmonary vein stenosis?
Yep. So pulmonary.
That's when
veins
underoxygenated blood goes through a
and
hole or something
pulmonary
and
arteries.
passes through.
So pulmonary veins, remember, this is how how does blood travel through a pulmonary vein? From where to where? Remember, you
Goes
have
from the
4
heart to the
pulmonary
lungs.
veins.
Goes from the heart to the lungs.
Does it go from heart to lungs?
no, lungs to heart.
It goes from lungs to heart.
Oh.
Back from the lungs to the left atrium, it goes through the 4 pulmonary veins. And because it's already made it to the lungs, that's where it picked up the oxygen. So now it's going to be oxygen rich. But the pulmonary arteries, you have 2 pulmonary arteries, left and right. And where does blood go from what to what?
Heart to lungs.
What part of the heart?
The
atria, right atria.
No.
Right ventricle.
Okay, right ventricle to the lungs. All right, so let's go over blood flow, because this is something that you either know it or you don't. How does blood flow?
Starts in the right atria. Oh, well, it goes from the
inferior
Right.
vena cava or super.
Okay,
Inferior
superior
vena
vena cava, inferior vena cava, coronary sinus,
Yeah.
into the what?
Right
right
atrium.
atria.
Okay, into the right atrium. Then it goes through a valve. What's this valve?
Tricuspid.
Tricuspid valve. Then it gets into the right ventricle.
Ventricle.
From the right ventricle, it goes through the
Pulmonary valve.
pulmonary valve into the
Lungs.
well, first it has to go to the pulmonary trunk, and then from the pulmonary trunk, it goes to the right pulmonary artery, left pulmonary artery, into the lungs.
Lungs.
And that's what we were just saying. Pulmonary arteries, it goes from the right ventricle to the lungs. Okay, these are pulmonary arteries. And then once it picks up in the lungs, that's where it picks up all this oxygen. Okay, and on the way back from the lungs, it leaves both lungs, and it goes to what? It leaves both lungs, and it goes to the
Left atrium.
left atrium through the 4 pulmonary veins. So let's put in our 4 pulmonary veins. We've got our 4 pulmonary veins, and now blood comes back into the left atrium. Now we have oxygenated blood in the left atrium. Then it goes through a valve. What's this valve?
Bicuspid.
That's your bicuspid, mitral, bishop's mitre, whatever you want to call it. Then it gets into the
Left ventricle.
left ventricle. So that's also oxygenated. Then it's going to go through another valve. What's that valve?
Aortic valve.
Aortic valve. From there, it's going to go into the
Aorta.
The ascending aorta.
Huh?
The ascending.
Well, so first we have the part that goes up is the ascending, and then
And you
the
got the
aortic
arch.
arch, and then
Descending.
the descending.
Ascending.
Okay. What if we have an aneurysm in the ascending? That's called a what type of aneurysm? If it's in the ascending versus the descending.
Ascending aneurysm. I'm not sure.
Okay. So by the way, we have different aneurysms. The one that's called a triple A is the one that's down in the abdomen. But the aneurysm can be here, here, here. It doesn't matter. It's only called a triple A if it's down in the abdominal cavity, because that's an abdominal aortic aneurysm. Okay.
Okay.
But the one that's the ascending limb, that's a type A. That's the ascending. And then a type B, and this is from the DeBakey classification, a type B is the descending. Okay. Type B is the one that most often gets surgery.
Okay.
Okay. Now, after blood leaves the aorta, then where does it go?
Goes to the rest of the body.
Okay. Well, so it's going to go through arterioles. Then it's going to go into capillaries. Then what?
Venules.
Then it gets into venules. Then it gets into veins. Then it gets into big veins like the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, the largest. So the largest veins are superior, inferior vena cava. The largest artery is the aorta. Okay, let's run this back. Blood comes into the right atrium from three places: superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, coronary sinus. It goes into the right atrium, through the tricuspid valve, into the right ventricle, through the pulmonary valve, into the pulmonary trunk, into the left and right pulmonary arteries, into the left and right lungs. From the lungs, blood travels through the 4 pulmonary veins, comes into the left atrium, goes through the bicuspid valve, into the left ventricle, through the aortic valve, into the ascending limb of the aorta, the aortic arch, and the descending limb. From the aorta, then it goes into arteries, then capillaries, venules, veins, back to the superior inferior vena cava. And then it just keeps doing this over and over and over. Okay. Which side of the heart is the under-oxygenated side? The right side.
Right.
It's under-oxygenated and it's low pressure. On the other side, on the left side, it's oxygenated or oxygen-rich and high pressure. Where's the highest pressure in the body? Right here in the aorta. Okay. That's where blood pressure is actually coming from. Like when we measure blood pressure, it's pressure right here. Let's talk about this. What is preload? Preload is the volume of blood that ends up coming into this left ventricle. So theoretically, what comes into the right side also ends up in the left side. But when we say preload, we're primarily talking about the volume of blood that comes into the left ventricle. What medication can drop preload? Nitro,
Right.
because it's a venodilator. What is afterload? Afterload is the resistance that we have to overcome to get blood to push out of here. So what can drop afterload? Vasodilator, also nitro, also calcium channel blockers, or anything that's a vasodilator. Okay, how are you feeling about all that?
Good.